Welcome to Hoda's Career Info, a program providing an opportunity to meet career people from across the globe. My name is Hoda Kilani, career and academic coach of Right Career Fit. And it is my pleasure to introduce you to my series, Hoda's Career Info. Coaching is all about storytelling, helping you to envision and tell your story your way. I put this series together to share stories of inspiring career people. I hope their stories motivate you to envision your career story, discover your road to success, or recast your career path. More importantly, that you love these career stories as much as I do. Our special guest today is Educator and the Canadian Association for Prior Learning Assessment Chair and Interim Executive Director, Andy Brown.
My job is to support the work. So the most important thing is to try and help that person get in the right, what I call headspace, so that they can thrive. In my opinion, there's no such thing as luck. There's only taking opportunities. But you need to have the self-belief and maybe the naivete to seize those opportunities. So know your limitations, but if an opportunity arises, you've got to seize it.
Thanks again for joining me in Hoda's Career Info, career program where guests from across the globe share career tips and personal stories to help you successfully navigate your career. Watch, listen, and learn. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow me on social media for more career info. More importantly, make sure you have that very important career conversation with a career professional. Our guest today is Andy Brown. Andy coordinated the transportation and logistics recognition of acquired competencies, also known as RPL, services at Champlain College in Montreal, 2011 to 2023. After 3 decades of teaching, Andy is still fascinated by the teaching-learning interface. He recently researched factors that aid and inhibit non-traditional students' retention or progression in Champlain's RPL services to complete his master's degree in education. Andy has also implemented the use of a learning management system to facilitate student motivational engagement and attainment using formative or summative assessments and gap-filling activities. He believes that the RPL process can be a transformative experience and is a vehicle through which clients can realize their own potential and professional goals. And he's also convinced that the classroom is a place of flux, of professional challenge, of continuous professional development, of meaningful relationships, and ultimately a place of joy. Andy was at his happiest supporting and guiding students and content specialists who make up the transportation and logistics RPL team. To him, this was both a pleasure and an honor. From March 2020, Andy focused on guiding the transportation and logistics RPL team in delivering their RPL services at distance. Through collaboration, the team was able to adapt its services from 100% face-to-face to 100% at distance in 3 weeks. This transformation, although came with challenges, has allowed greater access to clients, especially those who are working full-time. Andy has been on CAPLA's boards for a number of years, first as a member, then as vice chair. He was elected chair in December 2020. He is excited to collaborate with the board to continue to meet CAPLA's mission to its membership. Thank you for joining me and Andy Brown. Stay tuned as Andy shares his story and introduces us to CAPLA, the Canadian Association for Prior Learning Assessment, a pan-Canadian organization that supports the personal and professional goals of their clients using RPL, Recognizing Prior Learning, or PLAR, Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition. Thank you so much, Andy Brown, for joining me, and welcome to Hoda's Career Info.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
And I'm so glad to have you join me, Andy. And the first question to you is, what is the term that best describes the work that you do, and how would you define it from your perspective, not the dictionary or Google search perspective?
Sure. So I've been an educator or a teacher for over 30 years. So I think that that's a label I can give it. I've taught many different types of subjects to different types of people. I've managed like little summer camps where there was 3-year-olds, and I've taught up to 60, 70-year-olds. So right across the spectrum from high school to college, tiny little bit at university level. In many different areas, and sort of some of the key things you need to be as an effective educator is you need to have a strong background in the subject. Yeah, you need to know the key knowledge and principles, concepts, and maybe even the metacognitive behaviors that are specific to that domain. But you also need to know about pedagogy, or if you're working with adults, andragogy. So those are some of the key terms there. And course design and instructional design and all these specific pedagogies for the classroom that might be related to specific subjects. You need to know all these things as a starting point. But for me, that's not the important bit. For me, the important part is the people you're working with. Yeah. So people say teaching, I want to be a teacher. Teaching's the wrong word. It's a learning facilitator. Your job is you have all the responsibility to design this environment where people can thrive. And for people to thrive, you need to get to know the people. You need to care about the people. Who are they? Where are they at? How are they thinking? What do they know already? That comes into RPL and PLA, which we're going to carry on talking about there. And what do they want? I mean, if you're working in career advice, you've got a person in front of you. You need to assess what do they already have. That's the RPL PLA bit. Yeah. But most importantly, what is this person trying to achieve? What are their desires? What are their goals? What are their professional or personal developmental objectives? And then you, using your professional expertise, need to help them move towards those goals. So for me, the key terms are supporting and caring.
Thank you so much for sharing your terms. And I love the idea of a learning facilitator. I think I might adopt it as a career learning facilitator, because I'd like to think of facilitating the journey of my clients.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what all people that work with people, that's what their job is. Lots and lots of different professions and jobs. If you're a doctor, you need to find out not just the physical symptoms, the readout on the ECG or whatever. It's like, where's that person at? How are they feeling? And at the end of the day, if I'm involved in learning promotion, I don't do the learning. I don't do the work. My job is to support the work. So the most important thing is to try and help that person get in the right, what I call headspace, so that they can thrive, so that they can grow. They can get, I mean, the technical term for it is self-efficacy. It's like they develop that self-efficacy, that they suddenly can take control of themselves and their own pathway. Yeah. And that's another thing. I mean, my job, I suppose, is to allow people to develop so much that they don't need me anymore. I've done myself out of a job. They can just carry on without me. And when they can carry on without me, I'm at my happiest because then they don't need me anymore. They've got everything they need to go and take control of their life and develop and work towards their own personal objectives.
I can hear the passion and your energy towards the work that you do, Andy, and I appreciate that, which makes me want to ask you the next question. What is the personal story that led you to this passionate position? And perhaps send us a message in between, a lesson we can learn from.
Sure. So in a long time ago, in a land far away, yeah, I finished university. I got a degree in geology in about 85. And then I went off traveling around the world for about 3.5 years. I was mainly in Australia and New Zealand and Southeast Asia. What I learned from that was a thing, is I met lots and lots of people. And I learned that I like people. I find people fascinating. And in my own experience, I found people are good. People are kind. I had so much kindness and support given to me, just meeting random people anywhere, and I think that sort of maybe subconsciously I've sort of realized I like people. I like talking to people. I mean, that's another definition of what I do is I communicate with people in the deepest level. So I came back. I didn't quite know what to do. My mother said, "Oh, if you thought about teaching, teaching, they don't get paid well. They don't get respected in the press. I don't want to do that." She goes, "Oh, just go to your old high school and have a little tryout." So I went to my high school. I stayed there for about 2 weeks or something, and I thought, I just volunteered. I was just like a classroom assistant with some of my old teachers. And I thought, I really like this. I really like that. This is fun. This is interesting as well. So then I applied to do teacher training, and then I taught mainly geography and geology and social studies, and lots of sex, drugs, rock and roll, sex education, drugs education, religious education, rugby. I was a rugby coach, all sorts of things. I did that for about 8 years, and I loved it. And that was sort of grades 7 to 13, what would be grades 7 to 13 over here. And then in 2000, my wife said, I'm going to university at McGill. And I said, well, I think I better come as well then. And so we moved over in 2000, and I sort of retrained to teach English as a second language. And I did that for about 4, 5, 6 years. And I transitioned from sort of doing that. And I also did quite a lot of training, English second language teachers as well. And then I missed being back in a college because I was working in business. So I was going all over Montreal and Laval and the South Shore, and I loved it. I really got to grips with. I mainly worked with Quebecois, francophone workers in Quebec. So I think I learned a lot about the culture and the people. But then I missed the collegiality of being in an institution. So I slowly sort of transitioned back. And since about, I think my first contract with the college I still work at, which is Champlain College Saint Lambert in Montreal, was in 2005. And then in 2008, they started a new program in transportation logistics. I got into teaching in there. And then from 2011 to 2023, I managed the PLA RPL service in this qualification, transportation logistics. So I was working with the teachers, supporting the teachers and supporting the people taking the program. And it was a quick and efficient way for them to get the qualification to achieve. But the qualification is not the important. It's what it allowed them to do. Basically, it's two things. It's get a job or get a better job. That's what you get a qualification for through PLA or RPL. A couple of years ago, I sort of ran its course, not because I was bored with it or anything. It's just I'm getting old now. I need to transition into my pre-retirement career. So I sort of pulled away from that. I started doing, from about 2018, I've been involved with CAPLA, which is the Canadian Association for Prior Learning Assessment. I've been on the board, and then I was vice chair, and then I was chair. I've been chair since 2020. So I've been spending a lot more time on that, and I have the time now because I'm not doing my full-time job. But I'm doing more teaching. I've gone back to my roots. I'm doing more teaching, and I'll be honest, I get to do all the good stuff and none of the bad stuff like department meetings and stuff like that. And I don't really have a boss anymore. I just go in, do my stuff, work with the best people I could possibly have as students, and then go home. So and it's actually getting quite well paid as well. So I think I've got the best of both worlds, and that's how I see myself progressing into my retirement. I'm going to teach, I'm going to work for Kapla to try and promote PLA and RPL.
One of the messages I heard from your story is that you did a lot of planning. So it was not just moving through the motions. Like right now, you're planning for retirement. I think the message I heard is take the time to plan. Do you have any other messages from your story that you'd like to share?
Go for it. Opportunity. In my opinion, there's no such thing as luck. There's only taking opportunities. But you need to have the self-belief and maybe the naivete to seize those opportunities. So when they arise, you go, yeah, I can do that. And I've done that all through my life. People have asked me to teach all sorts of things. It's like, yeah, I can do that. And then it's like, oh my God, what do I know about that? And then you have to do the hard work to get it up. I've always known that the important part of the job is interacting with the people. Yeah, for me, the subject matter is the easy bit because you can just teach yourself that bit. Yeah, now there's limits to that. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to start teaching Mongolian as a second language, because it would take me like 15 years to get up to the level where I could actually do it. So know your limitations, but if an opportunity arises, you've got to seize it. Yeah, and people say, oh, you've been so lucky. I said, no, I haven't. I've worked really hard at it, really, really hard at it. Oh, you're a born teacher. No, I'm not. I have some predispositions that I think give me a leg up, which is I like people. And I like to think I'm an effective communicator. But the rest of it, I work my little socks off. It's a bit like the swan, on the surface, it's all serenity. And underneath, you're going like this. Yeah, you're working hard. You've got to work at it. So I think it's those things. You have to seize opportunity. You need to be realistic. Are they achievable objectives? But if it presents itself, you've got to dive in and go for it. Did that
I love this
question?
message. Yes, I love this message. And that's what it is that on the surface, it may seem easy, but really there's a lot of hard work in there.
I think you see that with people that are you see that they make it look easy. Yeah, they make it look easy because of all the work and planning they did before. Yeah. I mean, for me as an educator, 90% of my job is outside the classroom. Yeah. It's about designing courses. It's like knowing how to design courses, a learning flow through a 60-hour course or something like that. It's designing all the instructional activities that will help the students promote the learning. Promote their own learning. It's all the resources and the development and the way you put it all together. There's a wonderful term in education. It's called orchestration. Yeah, if you imagine an orchestra and you're trying to orchestrate the classroom. And I sort of like that, but I don't like that because the focus still on the conductor. And that's not what it's at. It should be you do all this stuff so that they do all the work and the interaction with each other, and they promote their own learning and support each other's learning. And you just pull back and let them go for it. You've got to know when to. That's one of the problems I had when I started out my teaching career, is knowing when to just go and stand at the back and shut up and stop. They're doing it. You designed it. They're doing it. Don't interrupt them because you're going to get in the way. It's pulling back and saying, I'm not important anymore. They're doing everything. I did my important stuff to get it going, and I need to pull back and let them get on with it. Otherwise, I'm going to inhibit the process. Yeah.
I appreciate this elaboration. And you mentioned, as you were introducing yourself also, that you are currently chair of CAPLA, Canadian Association for Prior Learning Assessment. Just before we introduce PLAR a little bit more, what is the purpose of CAPLA and its vision? Just so people know what's it all about.
So I have a little thing that I send. It's a bit different every time. First of all, Canadian Association of Prior Learning Assessment, it's like a professional association. So our remit is to support the people who are using PLA RPL to support the end user, yeah, the client, the student, yeah, the worker. So our job is to try and support the people that are doing the work with the people who are receiving the service. So for me, it's quite simple. It's more PLA in more places, delivered by more PLA practitioners for the end user, so that more end users can receive PLA services to reach their own personal or professional development goals. That's it.
Thank you. It's a very simple vision, but so, so important. And we're going to be talking about now the recognition of acquired learning, RPL, and prior learning assessment recognition, PLAR. So you've mentioned them a few times. Can you share who, in your opinion, will best benefit from these services?
Everybody is the easy answer. So I'm going to try and go through a few sort of groups of people and how it could potentially benefit them. But the truth is that through our lives, we've all used PLA and RPL services and processes, personally and also with other people. In my sort of 11, 12 years of managing a PLA RPL service at the college level, and that was to get a qualification. I've mentioned before, these people wanted this qualifications for two primary reasons. That was to get a job, and that was mainly for recent immigrants, and they were probably about 85% of my clientele, or get a better job. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those two groups of people, and I'm sure that quite a lot of the audience, they're going to work with or potentially work with this type of person. So I mean, I'm an immigrant. I came to Canada for the same reasons of all immigrants, a better life for myself, my wife, and our family. Yeah, and that most immigrants come not for themselves; they come for their children. Yeah, and they want to build a better life. Now, a big part of that is they need to find a job. Yeah, and the two questions they always get is, do you have Canadian experience? No, I came here last week. Do you have a Canadian qualification? No, I came here last week. Yeah, regardless of the fact that they have a master's degree or they're a doctor or stuff like that, it's like, no, we want a Canadian one. It's like, why? What? If you're a doctor, do they have 3 legs in Africa? Are their livers on the front of their forehead? You know, it's like it blows my mind. But so this allows people to transfer their knowledge, skills, and abilities and qualifications from their initial context to a Canadian context. And that PLA RPL process can really speed up that process. They don't need to go back and do a 4-year degree, or they could maybe get this thing and then they enter the workforce. And in my experience, immigrants are incredibly humble that when they left their country, they were at this level professionally, and they know they need to start at this level when they come over here. So they can get a lower level qualification, get into the workforce, build that Canadian experience, and then they can build their careers in whichever way they want. Some go much higher than when they left their home country. Yeah, some just go, no, I'm happy here because I'm investing in my kids. And I'm just going to stay at this level. We're going to focus on our children, which I find so incredibly altruistic. It's like they're putting on hold their own life for the sake of their children. I mean, these people are amazing. So yeah, the RPL PLA process can help people get the qualifications to get a job. The second group are people that are maybe people that have been born in Quebec, or they maybe emigrated here a long time ago, and they've reached that stage in their career where they've hit that qualification ceiling. Yeah, and they need that piece of paper to get to the next level. This happens a lot in like heavily unionized environments, where it's like, you must have this qualification to do this job. This person's been doing that job for 20 years. Of course they can do the job. Yeah. They have the knowledge, skills, abilities they've demonstrated, but they need this stupid piece of paper. So that's the second group of people that when you're talking about qualifications, they need this piece of paper to build their career because they've hit that qualification. And again, that PLA RPL process allows them to get there quicker. Yeah. They're already in their careers. They've got their families. They can't take a year off to do this qualification full time. Yeah, but they need the piece of paper to be able to progress their career. So yeah, that's recent immigrants, people in careers that need things. But if you've ever interviewed for a job, or you've interviewed somebody for a job, you've used the PLAR process. The whole point of an interview is to help people, is to assess what people know, can do, their behaviors, how they're working in your team. You're assessing what that person already has. Yeah, and to see whether they match what you want in your company for that job description. So also helping people for interviews is like helping people to get together what they have done in their life, what they have achieved in their life, what they can do, what they think where they want to go, to allow them success in the interview process. In a HR sense, in Canada, our most valuable resources are people. Yeah, so it's tapping into that incredible resource of our people. And the starting point, if you're looking to develop your workforce in HR, is where are they at now? What do they already know? What can they do? You're looking to promote from inside. Who could be that person? Who is the right one? You're going to assess them. And that's all PLAR RPL is assessing what people already know can do. Yeah, and then using it, hopefully, for something developmental. So in HR, it's fantastic for training. You can, companies only have a certain amount of money. You can use RPL PLAR to assess your workforce and find out what they know and can do to target the training. But you can also use it to assess people, to see who you're going to promote and develop within the country. People are retired. Who's going to provide that continuity within the company? What's the best candidate from within the country, within the company? Re-entering the workforce. I think this is when this thing where if people have been out of the workforce for a while, they're quite insecure. It's like, oh, I don't know anything. I haven't done anything. I haven't worked for 10 years. Just like, no, baloney. Yeah. You're a functioning adult in a complex society. You've got so much knowledge. You've got so many skills that you probably, and it's that RPL process, that interaction with an RPL or PLAR professional or career development that you're drawing out. No, you can do this. You can do this. Oh, I can use that, can I? Of course you can. Of course you can. So I mean, career advisors, you use PLAR RPL all the time. All the time. You just don't know the label. Yeah. Mid-career, a person could do it as well. They could do that self-analysis of themselves and do that personal inventory of what do I know, what skills do I have, and like why would I like to go? Do I have any gaps? Do I need to go and take this course or this course to build myself up so I'm ready for my next step? Because I want to go here, but I think I've got a couple of things that I'm missing to get there. So I need to identify those and go and get them so that I can then be ready to take that next leap. Like I said, everybody.
One of the things I was thinking of is stay-at-home moms as well, that when they decide to go back to the workforce and they think, well, I don't have any skills.
Yeah. I mean, but think about it. When we were maybe at elementary school, I don't know if this happens in Canada, but it certainly happens in Britain. You're going to go and play a game of soccer or something, yeah? And you have two captains, and they get to choose teams. Have you ever gone through that, Hoda?
Yeah.
Guess what?
You don't want to be the last one picked.
Exactly, but how did they pick the first one? Because they always pick the best one first. Yeah, PLAR, RPL. That's an assessment on somebody's abilities in this game, playing the game of soccer. Yes, we even do it at a really early age, like from the age of like 4 or 5. We do this. We use the RPL process to choose soccer teams or baseball teams or stuff. And like you say, you don't really want to be the last one.
Well, I thank you so much for simplifying PLAR and RPL for me and the audience. But if anyone has any further questions, they can connect with you or check the CAPLA website.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just send me an email. It's abrown@crcmail.com. net. I'm sure Hoda's going to share my contact details. It'd be a pleasure to. I mean, again, I might not be able to help, but I can do the triage and sort of say, you need to talk to this person. You need to talk to this person.
That's perfect. Thanks, Andy, for offering that opportunity. I've got one more question. I know you're in a position trying to move from full-time to semi-retirement, but we still think that we should step out of our comfort zone every now and then. So what do you have planned to step out of your comfort zone in the near future?
Well, Kapla's, I maybe talk about Kapla first, and then if you can remind me again, sort of personally. Kapla's got some exciting little projects going on at the moment. We found it, I became chair in 2020. Yeah, December 2020. Guess what was going on then? Yeah. So we had to transition to a less than online association to a much more online association. We lost one of our major revenue streams, which is an in-person conference, and we had to transition to how we ran the organization to stay afloat. And that was pretty challenging. That was hard work, but hard work never killed anybody. That was also good fun, and it was interesting, and you get innovative and you get creative and you try and find solutions. Some of the things we've recently sort of added to our thing is a thing called a community of learning. So basically, this is free. This is open to anybody. You don't need to be a Kapla member, but if you want to be a Kapla member, please feel free to join. But it's just practitioners coming together to talk to each other and support each other. We meet once a month, and it's one of my favorite times of the whole month. It's just the time goes like that, and I just love listening to the people and sharing and connecting. And that's another big thing about Kapla. Oh, you need information on this? You need to talk to that person. With the end goal of then there'll be more PLA, RPL in more places delivered by more people for more people. We also have another group that's again free, that's called the University Working Group, which is more for people who work in the university or college level sector, that again just get together and talk about professional issues and try and support each other. Recently we got a nice grant to investigate whether we can find like a pan-Canadian qualification for people who work in the field of PLA RPL. So I can't really say much more about it, but we've started work on that. So that's very exciting. And that hopefully will bring the community even closer together as we reach out to everybody for their feedback and their input into this project. Our website suffered. We need to upgrade that. That's going to be, how do we do that? Oh my goodness, do we need to change? We'd like to go back and do an in-person conference again. I've never organized one of those before, so that would be like, okay, let's go. How do we do this? You know, but again, there's so much expertise around me. I just need to delegate. It's like, oh, you know how to do this? Fine, you get on with it. You're a professional. You do it. I'm your PA. I will support you in the work that you do. And the end of the day, it's to all those connections is like keep on making those connections. And sometimes it can be bigger things, but it could be that one email. Somebody reaches out and that helps you connect with that person, but maybe another little network of people. And then through that, your spider's web of connectivity and network grows and helps you support your primary mission, which is more RPL in more places, given by more people to more end users. So on a personal level, I need to keep on working on my French. So it's not brilliant. And I'd like to, if I got a bit more time, learn Spanish as well. And language learning is scary because basically you only learn when you make mistakes. So you've got to be willing to take risks, risk-take in language learning, and make mistakes and make a bit of a fool of yourself sometimes, you know? So that's the only way you learn. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning.
I think not just in languages as well, isn't it? In everything.
Yes. Yeah, you have to take calculated risks, not stupid risks. You need to be within the ballpark of achievability. Yeah. And then you need to work towards making it really achievable, but you need to grab those chances, those risks, and run with it.
It sounds like you have big ambitions and big plans ahead of you between Kapla and your personal ambitions. So I want to congratulate you on these. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Did you want to add one more thing before I wrap up the episode? Do you have any other thing that you hoped I would ask, but I didn't?
No, I think I answered your questions. I was a good boy.
Yes, you did. And I thank you so much for your time, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I wanted to say. I just wanted to say, again, we've connected. This is another opportunity for me to get the message out about Kapla. So I want to thank you and your community. And if anybody wants to learn more or needs any support or thinking maybe I could use this in my practice, reach out. I might not be able to help you, but I bet I know somebody who can help you, and I'll connect you with them.
Thank you so much again for your time, Andy.
That's an absolute pleasure, Hoda. Thank you.
Well, that's it for Hoda's Career Info, the program where career professionals from across the globe join me to empower you to succeed. Our guest today on Hoda's Career Info was Andy Brown. You can connect with Andy on abrown@crcmail.net. Andy shared, "There is no such thing as luck. There's only taking opportunities." What are your thoughts on this quote? Remember, you can watch Hoda's Career Info on YouTube or listen to the episode on your favorite podcast app. To let me know if you're interested in an opportunity to talk about your work, you can send me a direct message on my website, rightcareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow me on social media for more career info. I am your host, Hoda Kilani. Until next time, remember, your time is valuable. How are you spending it?